Okay, that's enough music. Gotta have your little things, you gotta have your little bits that are recognizable. Oh my God, the
You got to
music
change
tune.
the music one day and mess everybody up.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. No.
no.
Link to Fat Rat is down in the description box if you wanted to check his music out. He's one of the most famous YouTube music artists. He has no he has no formal association with any music studio. He does it all himself. He's got
Mm.
over 10 million followers on his YouTube channel. He keeps on brings out a new tune every month or so, and he actually does live streams where he actually shows you him building the tunes and things like that. You've got to check it out one day if
I
you
got to check that out. You're right.
if you like that sort of stuff. Yeah, he's from Europe, Northern Europe, sort of Sweden or somewhere, I think.
I need a new intro, a new music intro when I get my new logo for the new channel name. So I'll take a look at him.
Fair enough. Jen Desperado, good morning. How are you? Good to see you along. How'd you find your flight yesterday? I saw you flying yesterday, but I was a bit beat. I couldn't be bothered joining in at that time. Um, but yeah, I reckon I was getting 10 FPS better from yesterday's morning's test run. Yeah, I thought it was not bad. All the terminals seemed to work properly. Databases, database transactions work really well, and yeah, we'll find out how well it runs. We've got Xenothreat running now, so that's a fun exercise on the game. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the LTR visa. Yeah, both of the guys, because I don't have one. Right out, I don't have an LTR visa. I don't need an LTR visa. I've got ideas of what could I do if I changed a few things, but I'm exploring those now, and that may happen depending on how things pan out. But I'm leaving everything just open. The simple thing for me is just every 90 days go on, just say hi, and every 366 days you drop in there with a couple of photos, piece of paperwork, a health insurance, and 1900 baht, and you're done. Easy. But yeah, aside from that, the LTR visa has a lot of interesting options. I got some details here we'll go through, but really what we want to do is talk about Todd's and Jerry's experience that they've had and all the things that they find positive with it. We're gonna sell the LTR today. Come on, guys.
We're not sponsored, so
And we're not sponsored.
Yeah,
Well, you're quite welcome to hit that dollar thing down in the chat box there and sponsor the stream. It's all right.
that's a
Uh,
good idea.
yeah. Or just at least push like.
you push the like button, might have, yeah.
Yeah.
They all say that. Okay, so as Jerry got his before Todd, we'll start with Jerry's experiences. Go on, fire away.
Well, I had gone to the original big announcement when they did it at a hotel a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now. And at that time, you could see they weren't clear on what they were going to do. My friend Dave and John were two of the first out of probably 10 that did it and got it. So I saw that it worked. So my visa was up in July of last year. So I went ahead and applied about 6 weeks, 8 weeks prior, just to give myself time. At that time, here's the difference between myself and Todd now with the requirements. At that time, I had to show 2 years of income, 80,000 US plus the insurance. But when I did it in July, and they knew that my tax return had to be done in April. So they asked me for a third year of tax return. But if you're an American, you know that a lot of us do extensions. My tax return wasn't going to be due until October. So I had to go to my accountant and ask them to fill out the tax return for me. And they stamped on it draft only. And I said, oh, cripes, knowing Thailand, this might not work. But I submitted it. It showed the proper income, had the insurance, had everything else done. And luckily, it took me about 6 weeks to get everything done, maybe 8 weeks at that point. but I got it done with the third tax return. So that's something you don't have to worry about anymore. Todd will talk about that now. He's got the updated information, but I'll just give my 2 cents on the LTR. If you're going to be here long term, if you can do it somehow, and there are ways to do it. I can talk about it after Todd speaks about giving you 1 or 2 tips if you're an American. Do the LTR. The peace of mind it brings, the ease of life it brings for living here is very much worth it. There are some perks we can talk about again after Todd will go through some of the perks. But just the peace of mind that you get knowing that you've got basically 10 years, you got 2 5s. After 5 years, you have to show again that you still have the income and the insurance. But to have that peace of mind after going through 6 years of ups and downs, getting my visa, this is the way to do it without any question at all in my mind.
Yeah. Now, on those ups and downs, now your situation was a little bit different from the standard because you had those hiccups for the prior 2 years. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. Tell them about the hiccups. You know, this is the ridiculous thing about Thai immigration sometimes. You know.
So the first 3 years, everything was fine. I got the first one in the U.S., I got the second renewal, and I got the third renewal. From the third to the fourth renewal, you now had to show 1 year of money in the bank. You had to show insurance. So after the third year, let me just share, let me go back a little. I was using Bangkok Bank. When you go to the immigration office in Changwatana and you request a 1 year showing your money in the bank, they only do 6 months at that time. I think they still do. So I had to cancel the appointment that day and request a 1 year from Bangkok Bank. I got it 4 days later. I went back to the visa office, showed them everything, got the stamp. I said, great. Now I'm going to change from Bangkok Bank to Gassicorn. Gassicorn is the way it's spelled, because they'll give you a 1 year at Changwatana the day you walk in. Great, problem solved. So after 3 months and 6 days, I moved 400 grand from Bangkok Bank into Gassicorn. After, when I had to go back the following year, I made sure it was back to 800,000 baht 3 months prior. Here's what happened. I go to immigration in year 4. They look and they say, you took the money out of the bank and you did not have 800,000 in for the full 3 months. Of course I did. I took it out 3 months and 6 days later. No. My visa expired 3 months and 6 days prior, but the day they gave me the stamp was 4 days later. So theoretically, I had to take the money out 3 months and 10 days later. I missed by 4 freaking days, and they kicked me out of the country.
Fucking ridiculous.
Never had an issue with the money, always had the insurance. There was no hanky-panky going on. 4 days because I had 2 stamps in the book and I looked at the wrong one. So I had to use an agent, paid the agent, they got me the visa. The next year I had to use an agent again because I wanted to make sure everything was clear. And then the third year, year 6, I got the LTR. That's why I say get the LTR if you can.
Yeah. And again, I had a similar sort of situation with Changwatana when I was registered there as well, which is, you know, with the Citibank, we talk about this all the time, the Citibank, right, and then they said, I'm sorry, but we can't take that statement from Citibank, even though it was all present and correct. It's not a Thai bank. And we went through the rigmarole, and I'm going, okay, well, I had to write out something to put on my file that I would promise to, you know, have it in a Thai bank next year I turned up. So I left Changwatana, went to my bank, and I said, I need to try, went from there into Petkisem, which is where we're living, set up a new bank account, right, went back a couple of days later to get my card, went a couple of days later to make sure all the online banking was working. So that's 6 days passed after applying for the bank. blah, blah, blah. I got the app on my phone. So it was about 8 days. And I said, okay, now I'm going to transfer. So I went into fucking into Citibank and said, transfer my money to here, right? And it was all done, straight across, no bank charges. All well, 1 month money just went straight in, and there's my bank account balance at $1 million baht, no problem whatsoever. Next year, they said we don't have a bank statement for the 10 days. Well, you were the ones who told me to change banks. Well, can you get a statement from Citibank? I do not have an account at Citibank because you told me to take my money out of Citibank and put it in a Thai bank. You can call them. I don't think they'll talk to you. But the thing is, I'm no longer a customer. I haven't been a customer for 11 months and 20 days. They're not going to help me. I'm not a customer. You know what that means? Anyway, an hour later, after they went through 3 different officials up the chain of who's going to fucking sign off on it, they finally got the stamp. But that's the bullshit at fucking Chiang Watana. I've never had an issue with it. Yeah, knock on Pom. No.
That is very typical of the shit that you go through. And again, let's just be very clear. There are plenty of people that go through Chiang Watana and it works just fine.
Yeah.
You're going to hear stories about people, I've never had an issue, never been a problem. And then you're going to hear stories like myself, like Waza, and many others that do. So it is completely Thai hit and miss, and you need to be aware of that. Don't let anyone tell you it never happens. It's BS. It does a lot. And there are plenty of people that have had no issues. So hit and miss.
Quick hello to Sean. G'day, Sean. How you doing? And of course we've got David there. Hello, David. And Dowlow's just joined the team. There you go. The crowd's getting in. Well, I've got people sort of rolling in now. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's again this whole checkbox thing, And don't forget, nothing I did wrong. I followed their instructions to the letter. Yet it was wrong. Right? Wrong from their checkbox perception of how to do it.
Yeah.
Can't find the money for those 7 days or 10 days, or whatever.
Well, I followed the damn visa stamp the day the visa was stamped. Nope, I should have done it the day they actually put the visa in the passport, not 10 days prior, which is when the visa expired. All right, my fault, but come on. You're going to kick me out of the country for that?
You were trying to get it done quick. You were trying to do it as quick as you could,
And of course, I opened my mouth and I said to the lady, this is your fault for doing this because 1 year ago you gave me 2 stamps. She looked up, this is my fault? I said, yeah, it's your fault. Then I said, now what's my girlfriend going to do with a 60,000 baht a month apartment? How is she going to afford that? Oh, I should have never said anything. That's why I had to use an agent for 2 years because I knew I couldn't go back to her. So there's one lesson to be learned. Shut up when you get screwed up there. Don't be a stupid Italian New Yorker and open your mouth and yell. It will get you nowhere.
Nowhere at all, exactly.
It got me 37,000 baht out of pocket for the next 2 years of visas because I had to shoot my mouth off.
But that's what we find in life, isn't it? And so Todd, let's have a little talk around.
All right.
What's Todd's? He's got the most recent experiences. So how did it go with you?
Fine. I mean, I was lucky. I had Jerry to bounce off and everything like that. And I think from when Jerry did it to when I did it, they'd amended a lot of the input stuff on the website, and everything was sorted that way. So, I put stuff. I first started by printing out the form and filling it in by hand.
Same.
And then when I went to upload it on the portal, it wouldn't allow me to upload it. So it wanted everything inputted again electronically on the portal, which wasn't an issue. And they said, oh, it's got a step and it's got a flow chart to tell you how things are going and everything like that. And like Jerry mentioned, I only had to show 12 months. And of course, I'm on the military pension. I'm lucky enough to have some investment properties, which bumped it up to the required amount. And just to clarify, I'm the pensioner LTR, same as Jerry. There's another 4, 5 options that you can use if you want to do work, if you want to do investment and things like that. I don't know anything about those, so I can't talk about them. But it was the conversion rate, because they don't want it in Australian dollars, they want it in US dollars. So you have to convert it across. And sometimes the Australian dollar versus the US dollar could be a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Not in your favour. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a little bit concerned about that. But after uploading the original stuff, Jerry said, don't panic. Um, Whether it's their tactics or whatever, they will see how genuine you are about applying, because they'll ask you for additional documents and more information and things like that, just to see if you. And they did. They asked for, I think, 3 more times. They asked for clarification on a couple of things and additional documents, which, being the OCD guy I am, I had somewhere, so I just had to find them and scan them and upload them and everything like that. And the one little tricky thing, I had my 90-day check-in, I'd expire halfway through the process. So at the end, they're going, your 90-day check-in's not valid. And I've gone, oh, it is. Oh, can you please send us the updated one? So I had to update that, and that was the last thing. And next thing you know, provisional approval, then it goes through another process of, I think, going to immigration, a couple other government offices, and then they say you've got a provisional approval. They send you a provisional approval letter that you download and everything like that, and then they give you more instructions on what you need to do. You've got to book an appointment once you got the provisional approval. And yeah, I went to the appointment, and the good thing about it, it's on the MRT line. And it's just a couple of stops down from the Penny MRT station. I can't remember the name of it. Jerry might know it off the top of his head.
Samyot, was it?
Samyot. Yeah.
Maybe.
And it's right next door. Yeah, you go up and everything's perfect. You do have to get dressed up. You cannot go in shorts. You cannot go in sandals, collared shirt, because it is a business.
It's a business thing, yeah.
Business thing. But the staff there were awesome. They speak very good English, and nothing was an issue. I had to wait, but I think now 2.5 hours, 3 hours for the whole process. But you got to keep in mind, it's also the working visa and business visa immigration center in this building. And that's the immigration center they use. So that is
BOI office.
Yeah, and that is like chock-a-block. That was just like full. But because you're using the LTR staff, they sort of escort you through and take you to the right counter and explain what you need to do and everything like that. Jerry didn't mention that the cost for the 10 years was 50,000.
It used to be 100,
Yeah.
Including multiple re-entry for the years.
And there's privileges, which Jerry and I will talk about. And I did the balance. When I get the OA and the multi-entry, it's 3,800 baht a month. No, hang on, 5,000 something baht a month, because you're paying the 1,900 and then the 3,800 for the multi-entry.
Per year.
Yeah, per year. So over the 10 years, I'm actually saving 7,000 baht.
Yeah.
So
if you are bouncing around, yeah.
And I have family back in Australia. I'd like to start doing some more travel now. I've got my eyes sorted, which is another thing. But yeah, they came back, paid the fee, put the 2 stamps in, and okay, so I don't have to do the 90-day check-in. I've got a yearly check-in. It comes with the multi-entry visa. It allows the fast in and out of travel if you're flying. I don't know. Yeah, international. Yeah. Which you could only do if you were I think Elite allows you to do it because they've got an Elite one, or you're doing business class or first class or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Over 70 years old, just as an FYI.
yeah. Thank you, Jerry. Forgot that one. But apart from the anxious wait and the request for more explanation and a few more documents, I found the process pretty good. The only thing that concerned me, like I said, I'm on military pension. I do have a little extra income via investment properties, and um, they're asking US dollars to reach the 80,000. And I didn't think I was going to get there, but as you said, Jerry, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen is they can say no. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Apart from that, it's cruisy, and the whole thing is, um, it's going to allow me to explore Thailand a lot more. You're not stressed about doing the 90-day check-in and everything like that. So,
Yeah, yeah. So the different classifications that come under who is eligible for the LTR visa. So they're targeting high income foreign individuals, foreign retirees, foreigners intending to work remotely in Thailand, and foreign professionals with special skills. Long-term residence visa holders permitted to bring along 4 family members, including their legal spouse and children under the age of 20. This means those who seek a digital nomad lifestyle can apply for the LTR visa and work legally in Thailand for as long as 10 years if they meet the eligibility criteria. Additionally, long-term resident visa holders will be able to apply for work permits to conduct work in the kingdom. That's section 1. So they break this thing down. So high-income foreign individuals must present healthy insurance policy covering medical expenses in Thailand no less than US $50,000. Remaining coverage period shall not be less than 10 months on the date of application, or provide evidence of saving at least 100,000 held in a Thai or overseas bank account for no longer than 12 months before the date of application.
Stop right there just for a
Yeah.
second. Very important to understand that an investment account does not count for that. It has to be a bank account, and it has to have been sitting in there for 12 months or more, never going below 100 grand. So a lot of people, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
And not use a Schwab account or a Fidelity account or whatever else is around the world. So please remember that's 100 grand in a bank account in your home country. It doesn't have to be in Thailand, but
Yeah.
it must be a bank account. Sorry.
High income earners must have proof of personal income of at least 80,000 US dollars annually during the period of 2 years prior to the application. Must have at least 1 million US dollars in assets. Must have an investment of at least 500,000 US dollars in Thai government bonds, foreign and direct investment. Yeah, okay, so that's the high income individuals. High income foreign retirees. Okay, this is obviously both of you guys. Must present health insurance, blah blah, same again. High earners must have proof of personal income of 80,000. In case of having personal income between 40,000 and 80,000 US, the applicant must invest at least 250,000 US dollars in a Thai government bonds, foreign, blah blah blah. Okay. Third criteria: foreign working professionals must produce an employment contract or service agreement entered with a business in Thailand or abroad. Foreign specialists must show proof of work experience in one of the target industries for a minimum of 5 years, performed within 10 years from the date of application. So that's something that I could probably, find, but I still don't have the income, you see. The current employer must have a public company or stock exchange, private company, okay. In the case of having personal income between 40 and 30, the applicant must have a master's degree or above, or own intellectual property, receiving a Series A funding of no less than 1 million and presenting the health insurance. Foreign experts must produce an employment contract or service agreement entered with a Thai business. Foreign specialists must show proof of work experience for 5 years with a PhD, personal income. So every one of the requirements of this personal income, which is where I don't, because I've only got half that. So Not that I need any more than that. Okay, I've got a comfortable lifestyle, but you're always tempted with what would have been like, with the HISO lifestyle. If I spend another 12 years in Australia, right, and came out 4 years from now, yeah, I would be in that category, but then
It
I just
doesn't matter. You're not going to do any
yeah,
more than you're doing now.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Other conditions. These conditions have been declared by the government. How changes may occur until detailers or regulations are in place. And foreigners must submit an application and provide supporting evidence to the Thailand Board of Investment. The 10-year visa is divided into 2 5-year terms. Applicants will be granted initial permission to stay in the country for 5 years, which can be extended for 5 more years. The total length of stay shall not exceed 10 years. Shall not exceed. So you've got to reapply in 10 years. Does that
Yeah.
means? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
The LTR visa holder and followers, spouse and children must report the status of their residence with the associated government agencies annually, which is the annual check-in. Once acquired, the visa and filed for the paperwork, the LTR visa holders are allowed to conduct their work immediately without having to wait for an insurance permit or issuance of a permit. Okay, so you can basically start working straight away. The working in professionals and specialists with employers the work permit will be issued for a maximum of 5 years and can be extended for additional 5 years. For those without employers doing their own business, the work permit will be issued according to the term requested by the applicants, but shall not be over 5 years and can be extended for additional 5 years. Work permit will be void once the visa is terminated or expired. Long-term resident visa holders and followers can apply to change the visa type according to the measures and regulations issued by the in the case of where the long-term resident visa holders and followers do not adhere to the regulations and conditions, the visa will be cancelled. Now, there is a couple of other areas as well. There's something to do with a spousal act. I found it elsewhere on the...
Yeah. You can bring a spouse and up to 2 children in on your visa. I'm not sure which visas of the 4, but you can. So...
Yeah. The other 2 things I didn't mention were there is the statement there that tax exempt with all the sort of, I suppose, lack of or misinformation about the income tax situation happening in Thailand. I'm not an expert. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. So it's just what I've sort of been reading and everything like that. If you're on the LTR, that is covered. You're not exposed to the income tax situation. And that is explicitly put on the BIY website when you look at the other information. And for me, I can now start using the 800,000 that I've had deposited in my bank because that's not a requirement for the LTR either.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple other things to piggyback before Wazzy, you go on. Very important. Todd mentioned it. You've got to make sure your TM30 and your 90-day reporting is up to date when you apply. Otherwise, you have to do what I had to do, which is go to Changwatana and get it done. Yeah. So that was another reason why I delayed myself for probably another 2 weeks, more than I should have. And the other thing, I just want to say that the BOI office people are fabulous. Completely different from Changwatana. Night and day times 3. They're professional, they're courteous, they know what they're doing. Yeah. And in my opinion, they wanted me to get the visa. They really helped make it happen. And Todd, I bet you that you had the same experience. At least I hope you did.
Yeah. From the moment I walked in the door, I got there early, and my appointment was at 1:30, and I got there at because I try and time things properly. I got there about 1:45, and the office was closed. Yeah. And I'm going, okay. And then a little security guy came out and said, "Oh, so sorry, the office is closed for lunch. It'll open up again at 1 o'clock." So because I was racing around, it gave me time to go back downstairs, find a bottle of water and drink that, and then head back up the elevators. So, but I was there early, and they were fine with that. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm here early. It's just wanted to make sure I got here on time and everything like that. I'm happy to wait." No. Show us all your documents and everything like that. And nothing was a problem. And yeah, the only interesting thing that I found was the sideway glances when I got escorted through the actual immigration side of things on the other side of the building. Sort of, I think people have been waiting there a little bit longer than they wanted to, and then here's this guy just being ushered through and taken straight to a counter and everything like that. So
Oh, well, wait
yeah,
till you get the elite line at the Suvarnabhumi Airport and everyone's waiting and you're going right through. And boy, Tiki had a blast with that the last time we went.
Yeah,
He
there is
was
on
so,
on
he
on
was so
this.
excited.
Yeah. On this circular, and this is out of Los Angeles, the Royal Thai Consulate. Their information has this fifth category called dependents.
Hmm.
Spouse and children under 20 years old, with the minimum of 4 dependents in a total of, yeah. So basically, the way I'm reading that is if you've got, a wife and a Thai wife and Thai children, you can also come in with the LTR visa, but I can't find any more information on that.
Hmm.
So
okay,
if you're,
Wow.
if you met the income levels, right, and you didn't hit the globe, you're not a pensioner, right, you're not in that work category. If you've got dependents here, I still imagine you still have to show the 80,000 US dollars a year or income, but nothing else is required. Basically, you're supporting ties. Yeah, but I can't find much more information. Maybe that was dropped, or maybe this is just typically websites not keeping up to date. And I've seen that on a few other websites. There was just one I was
yeah.
just looking at this morning, but it's
Well, if you want
it's an unknown. Yeah.
if you want the latest information, I'd go to the BOI website. Go directly to the BOI LTR website, um, and that is kept pretty much up to date.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the concerns I had, I was lucky that Jerry's already been through the process and everything like that, and had a couple of discussions with Jerry about, is this right? Is that right? Am I doing the right thing? And yeah, I really didn't have any major hiccups apart from the fact I was worried about my income because of the conversion rate and everything like that. So
Yeah. No,
um,
you did great, man. I'm so happy for you and for all of my friends and people I know that have gotten it.
yeah.
It's, take money out of the hands of Chang Watana and put it in our pocket so we don't have to use an agent and stuff. Come on, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
So when I click on the spouse and dependents one, there's no mention of the income.
Okay.
Well, you can bring in what I
So,
remember is you can,
so this one here
as
has
part of your visa,
income
you can
there.
bring one wife and two children if it's one of the work visas, etc. I don't know about wealthy pensioner, but for the other, when you're working here, you can bring in three people on your
Oh
visa.
yeah, that's on the other ones. But as I said, if you look
Yeah.
through the way that the tick boxes on each of the first four, which we've mentioned,
Mm,
all show the 80,000 income, 80,000 income, 80,000 income, 80,000 income, spouse and dependents. No mention of the 80,000 income. It's
yeah.
just you supporting a Thai family,
Correct.
right? Now, they would classify me, Shania, and we're supporting this Thai family with Ben. He's an invalid. He'll be like that for the rest of his life. Do you want there may be something in there, but um, you know, it'd be something I'd need to talk to somebody in the field, right, to find out whether one, if we got married, right, would that then put us into that category, and then I would apply. So that's the way
They
I look at it.
they are open to any questions. When I was sitting
Yeah.
there waiting for the process to happen, they had walk-ins coming to the front area, asking questions and everything like that, and they've got people that they can call from another section of the building
Mm-hmm.
to explain stuff. So they've got seating areas, and one guy came in, American guy, wanted more information about something because his initial application was rejected or something, and they sat with him for about 45 minutes and explained what he
Mm.
needed to do and everything like that. So I think in your case was
I'd have to wait till the law changes first before I can even
yeah,
ask the question.
yeah,
Probably then have to wait a year for them to, work out how that impacts everybody else,
yeah,
right? And not make it, balanced or unbalanced in any particular way. right? And how can it be leveraged and exploited? As
Yeah.
I can imagine, like the Indian marriage scams would be sort of quite prevalent with that, but I'm pretty sure they'd be right on top of that one. Yeah, if you don't know what the English marriage scams, it's quite common for an Indian, coming to Thailand, doing a fake marriage to a Thai and getting the O visa in Thailand, and it's talked about quite often. Well, probably not so much these days, but it was quite popular a few years ago. Probably
Mm.
COVID really threw a spanner in all those little exploits that people were doing. But I'm pretty sure they still exist. Judging from the amount of Nigerians on the street again, after
Oh, yeah.
they were exited 2 months ago, and now they're all back again.
Mm.
They're all
They'll
different
be fine.
faces, all different faces. But,
Yeah.
gotta love it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you've got the capability of doing it, like Jerry said, it is something worth investigating. And it has sort of relieved a lot of sort of things rolling around in the back of my mind. Okay, when's my next 90-day check-in? Have I got my residency certificate in the right place and all that sort of stuff? And it's just, as Jerry said at the start, it's just a relief valve that's just turned on
Yeah.
to make things a lot more comfortable staying here on a long-term basis. So,
Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to boost the whole foreign expat living here. You
yeah,
know, 3 or 4 years ago, it almost like they wanted foreign experts out of the country. And they've now seen the statistics over the last 3 to 4 years and adjusted for the anomaly. And they realise the fact that they're making life harder for the foreigners to come here. And now, well, they've done a reversal. That's the
mm,
way I'm reading it. I think we're talking about the 300 baht entrance fee has been now shelved again.
yeah,
Oh my God. This is so random. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. So yeah, I don't know. Does everybody feel a bit more well informed about? Excuse me, for the well informed about the LTR visa? Any questions you've got, just fire them off. Anyway, we might talk about Todd's little operation.
yeah. I'm not wearing glasses.
He's not wearing glasses.
Yeah, and I can see everyone clearly, and I
You've got
can.
a slight squint in this eye, or the one, well, the eye
Yeah,
I see
because
on that
yeah,
side
because
squinty a
yeah,
bit more.
because it's this is the most recent one done
Oh,
on
okay.
Monday.
That's a little bit wider than
Yeah,
the other one.
yeah, and this one's the first one.
Right.
Yeah, it's still got a month or 6 weeks to adjust with everything. I'm sort of pushing the limit, being close to the computer screen and everything like that this morning, but
Mm.
I've got to use the eyes. You can't sort of be lazy with them and put them in cotton wool. You just got to be careful. I
Well,
still have a
Star Citizen
no,
now. Oh,
no,
yes, yeah.
no,
We
no,
built
no,
that
no,
rig. We built that rig for Star Citizen. Come
no,
on.
no, 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 no.
I need a
Uh,
gunner.
no, 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 no. So yeah, still got the regime of eye drops that I have to do regularly. I've got to put a plastic cover over this eye when I sleep in case during my nocturnal hours I wake up and scratch my eye for some reason because it's itchy or whatever. But the the thing is, I didn't realize how bad my cataracts were until
Mm.
I sort of had one done. And the first one I had done was the worst eye. And
You can see, yeah.
after I could see out of this eye, but then this eye was like, oh my God, is it really that bad? But yeah, a lot of trepidation. And as you know, Jerry, there was a couple of hiccups sort of leading up to getting things done. But yeah, I'm happy. Touch wood, everything's heading in the right direction. So
Mm.
I've just got to be a little bit careful what I do for in the next few months because I still can't exercise because when you exercise, it builds up pressure in your cornea and everything like that, which could unseat the new lens. And
Mm.
there's a lot of things that they tell you have to be careful of. So that's basically what I'm doing. But yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, another relief valve that's sort of been sorted. So,
Mm.
and
Well,
I've got to
I
say
have
the hospital. Sorry, Jerry.
no, you finish, then I have a question.
Yeah, the hospital I went to, Thai hospital. It's not Farang based at all. Every time I went in there, I was the only Farang there. But they did speak English and it was good. And the doctor spoke really good English, and all the tests and everything were great. So yeah, I cannot say that I had a bad experience at this particular hospital. So and because of the laws and everything like that, I won't go into which hospital it is and all that sort of stuff. But if you get me on Discord offline and everything like that, I'm happy to discuss a couple of hiccups that I experienced along the way. So
Yeah. Dallo, on that weird thing, yeah, we can talk a bit about that in a moment. I suppose we might. I just got to find some documents. But yeah, there's currently, a public opinion poll being run between the 19th to 24th. There's a public opinion poll that they're running to gauge public opinion on the reclassification, and the numbers that they're pulling in right now are sort of saying the majority of Thai population do not want to see the law changed. They would like to see the law, the product regulated like tobacco and alcohol. That's the current public opinion status. We talk a little bit more in the video we shot yesterday, which I'll just leave it at that, and depending on how that edit comes out, we talk about it more there. But it's more of the fact is that it's like everything in Thailand, just wait until it happens, and then, if it's reclassified, that's the thing. They're sort of saying they're giving all shops enough time to get their ducks in a row so that they can't be held accountable if the law changes. The government hasn't mentioned anything at the moment about if they're going to compensate anybody who's invested heavily, right? And this is probably the linchpin that's going to happen here. It's where the big money is rolling around at the moment, right? Who's invested in the product, right? And do they have enough sway at that upper echelon? And that's really the linchpin. Public want it to stay as it is, but regulated. The industries or the businesses that are invested, they want to keep the money rolling, and the government is really looking on the verge of dissolution at the moment, with the guy that brought it in already sort of hedging his bets to sort of say, well, we're going to jump ship and go in with the opposition party, which of course then means a hung parliament, which means the re-elections and everything else. We may see that happen over the next 2 to 3 months once they get the Senate elected. And we did mention what's the possibility of a coup. We did mention that yesterday, didn't we? Yeah.
It's in the Thai ecosystem.
Yeah.
There's talk about it happening again. Come on, it could not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It matters to them, unfortunately, but for us.
Well, they kicked him out, 10 years ago because of what he was doing, and now he's running the government from the shadow.
Right. Well, I kicked his daughter out 10 years ago.
10 years ago, and kicked him out.
I don't know enough about it to.
Yeah. It's just, it is an absolute joke. It really is.
See, Stephen asked the question, can I read again? Yeah, I'm looking at the screens and everything fine. It's only the up close. Wazza and I were talking about it before the live stream, but the surgeon did say, don't stress too much about getting prescription glasses for your reading. Get a pair of cheap ×1 or ×1.5 or something if you feel uncomfortable. The only issue I have is my phone, reading my phone. And the glasses that I had when I went to Chris's optometrist in Bangkok, 18 months ago, about 18 months ago, work a little bit, but it's like, oh my God, I was blind as a bat.
Remember, she paid for those, 4,000 baht or something for those glasses, wasn't it?
Jesus. The other thing is, it's the surgeon said it'll probably take 6 to 8 weeks for everything to settle down to about 85-90%. And I'm happy with that. I can use what I have, and then if it gets really interesting, I'll just go get a pair of the cheap ones. But it's only for the really small reading that I need glasses for.
The ones I use for gaming and computer work, these are
Yeah.
1.0s, and these are
Yeah.
these are 2.0s. These are my
Yeah.
phone glasses. Just pop that out and just put them over there. If I really tight, I put them together like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I got now I got 3x. So
The bifocals.
I can see the hairs on my wrist now.
And the other thing is, I haven't been able to really wear sunglasses because if you're not sure what happens with cataracts, cataracts stop the light coming in and producing the image on the back of your retina. And because it was stopping the light coming in, when I put sunglasses on, everything was too dark because my eyes just couldn't adjust to wearing sunglasses because it wasn't getting enough light into the back of the retina. But now wearing sunglasses, it's like, oh my God, I feel like a teenager again, wearing my Oakleys and everything like that. And but yeah, the thing is, whenever I go outside, yeah, sunglasses are a must, no matter what, because of everything being a little bit, I suppose, more open now because the iris is actually working for the pupil size and everything like that. So
Using
there's a lot of
polarized
yeah,
glasses?
yeah. So there's a few things you've got to be careful of, but I mean it's just being a little bit disciplined and
Yep.
hopefully hunky dory in the next month or so.
Discipline.
Now that you can see clearly, who shocked you the most when you looked at them?
Can you see the new hair growth?
Yeah,
Dave's looking good.
yeah. I mean, I could see
Yeah, so
before, but
I haven't had a transplant. I'm just using a combination of herbal products. Which is,
Look at that real hair. Look.
again, I don't think I'm seeing any more hair growth, but I'm seeing a stronger hair.
Good.
It's just revitalizing the hair follicles. I don't think it's actually spurning on any stem cell growth, which is what a hair transplant does. It sort of has a stem cell aspect to it because they're putting the actual follicle back in a new area. So it generates a reaction which causes more stem cells to go to the area, which then improves the growth and follicle, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this sort of stuff, all I'm doing is just strengthening what I've got. But it's coming along. It's coming along.
It looks fine.
Yeah. Doesn't look so bald now. Old age. It's a lie. It's a con. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Old age is a scam. Stay young. Growing up is mandatory. Growing up is old and optional.
yeah.
Play more video games. I look the right age in my video games. You know?
I miss it, but I really have to be careful of how much exposure I have to sort of different lighting sources and everything like that. I mean, during the day, I'm sitting downstairs. I don't even have the TV on, and I sometimes, if it gets a bit intense, I wear sunglasses inside. I mean, I know that's probably overdoing things, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and sort of put too much exposure. But yeah, everything's coming along.
What's wrong with a good comb over? Well, yeah. Oh, life is fun here in Thailand. That's all I can say. Yeah, again, so I've been off my video schedule because Shanya's work schedule has just completely screwed my schedule up. But she's enjoying it. She's coming home. She's exhausted every day. But she's making good money. I just hope the thing stays consistent.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I don't think Thais always have a very much a short term. What they're doing this month or what are they doing next week, and it's just week to week. This living week to week. She's got, she bought a whole bunch of clothes in the last week for the business sort of attire. Because she's going to all these gigs with all these, managing directors and doing all this makeup and stuff. But yeah, so much. We only get to sleep together now. I don't see her any other time, apart from when she probably leaves in the morning, for 5 minutes. Bye bye, honey. See you tonight. Yeah. Then again, I've been thinking maybe I'll do some more, sit down, conversation because I've got a whole bunch of topics I wanted to cover, but I just don't know. when I've done them sporadically, they view well, and they're good, what they call evergreen videos, because they've got good information in them. But I always have this thing back in my mind, it's Shanya's and Waz's channel, and if Shanya's not in the channel, then it's just Waz's channel, and I really don't want to have that paradigm shift all the time, every second or third video, which, yeah, I'm just a bit of a weird when it comes to that. Anyway, I've got a couple of videos in the can. We'll get them out hopefully tomorrow and during the week, so see what happens. Just at the moment, it just means, shopping gets a bit, when are we going to go do shopping? You're already exhausted at 6 o'clock at night, darling, we're going to go shopping. I can't read Mum's shopping list, what she wants. I know what we want, but, she doesn't know how to write it in English, and and I can't really be bothered trying to run a translator when I'm in the shopping centre. What does she want this time? And it's all the Thai slang words for what she wants. Life can be fun. But are we complaining?
No.
No, we're not complaining.
No.
These are the challenges. I talk about the challenges. One of the challenges I'm having here in Australia right now, which may actually force me to do a flight back there. I'm trying to change my postal address on the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, because they've got my registered Australian address there as my postal address. And I'm thinking, this is before my new credit card was posted out. I approached them a month before that would happen, and I sort of said, look, it'd be simpler if we could just avoid the double handling. I want to change my address from the Australian postal address to my Thai postal address, but I can't do it online because it won't accept the Thai address. How do I do it? And there's no number you can call. I tried 3 or 4 different aspects, entry points into Commonwealth Bank to try to get that sorted out. No. So I had to go to AFAC, the Financial Bureau. I said, can you intercede and get them to get in touch with me? 3 days later, they reached out and said, you got a problem, right? We have to verify who you are. Okay, far away. Yeah. Oh, can you ring us? Now, the reason I made this call is the fact that you don't provide an overseas international toll-free number, which is a privilege every Australian has, but you're not providing it. And every time I've called your number, I'm on hold for 5 minutes, which I'm paying for, and you don't service your phone calls. So I'm trying to avoid sitting on there, racking up a phone bill for 2 or 3 hours waiting on hold, because it's expensive. And I shouldn't have to do that. And I doubt you would ever reimburse me. So I'm doing it this way. Oh, I can't call you. Well, I can't help. People call me all the time, every day. I'm getting phone calls every day, spam callers every day,
Yeah.
There hasn't been a single call on my phone log from a +61 number, which is my verification that the call is coming from an Australia. Don't try to call me from your service centre in fucking Bangladesh. I will not answer it.
Yeah.
Don't call me from bloody Malaysia, because I will not answer it. It instantly goes to my block list. That's what I told them. It has to be somebody calling from Australia, right, from a recognisable Australian thing, and they need to present themselves to verify who they are. You want to verify me. I want to know I'm talking to a Commonwealth Bank representative. So we hit a stalemate. It's now been 2 months to change my address. Anyway, my credit card is going through my Australian and having my Australian contact sending it out. Really? The sort of the bullshit you have to deal with in Australia.
Well, I had an issue with one of my cards and trying to get a replacement. They said first off said they couldn't send it to Thailand, which I know every other major banking system in the world will send a replacement card to wherever you are. I finally got hold of someone. Oh, no, we can do that. Can you give us your address in Thailand? And I did, but someone didn't update something and sent it to my address back in Australia, but instead of putting Australia, put Thailand. So that one disappeared. And in the end, I just said, please send it to this address. This is where my younger brother lives. And then I paid something like $80, $90 to get FedEx to Thailand.
And here's us. We commonly pick holes in Thailand for the inability to, conduct themselves in a
No,
in a fashion that would make sense.
no,
I'm seeing it's worse in Australia now.
yeah,
It's getting worse. It really is. Again, diminished responsibility. Nobody wants to do any work anymore. They just want to get paid to show up at a desk somewhere. I'm sure that's what it is.
That-
Which is
when
what's
I
going to happen in 5 years from when AI takes over. Seriously, that's what they're going to sit at desks. I got a little clip on my Facebook wall of something that I come across a few months ago, which I thought was funny.
Well, I speak to Mum regularly back in Australia, and the amount of things that she has to go through. She's not online. She doesn't have a laptop as such. She's good with her smartphone. She's awesome. She can sort of live her life on her smartphone. But she had to update something the other day, and they said, "Oh, well, can't you get online?" And Mum's turning 80 this year, and she's sprightly for an 80-year-old. And she's going, "No, I can't. What do you want me to do? You take money from my account and everything like that. You have a service fee that I pay you, blah, blah, blah. Aren't you meant to provide me a service?" And I'm going, "Mum, that's just the way things are now. It's not what yeah, I'm sounding old. It's not what it used to be."
when AI does finally hit the mainstream, well, because it's really just experimental at the moment. When it does hit mainstream, the only businesses that will survive are service businesses. And nobody in the workforce is trained to do service anymore. It's just the whole fucking system's going to collapse. Anyway, I'm good. It's all right.
Oh, hopefully by then I've got a small country house in Boreum or Serene or something. Yeah, just out of the way, sort of living a quiet life. And yes, as long as I got internet access, I'll be happy.
Darlow's quite keen to help me out there. Send him my 3-digit security code.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't got my card yet, so I need the card sent to me so I can get the security code on my new number. Not that I ever use the card. It's just like that's a stopgap. You know, if an emergency happened, then Sonia knows where the card is. That she can bring the card if I'm sort of laid up in a bed somewhere, and then just slide the card across, just take care of it. It's let's just I'm on death's door. I'm not going to sit there and wait for the bureaucracy to work out whether my Thai health insurance covers somebody running into me or giving me whiplash or some sort of broken limbs or something, and they want to verify your health insurance before they'll start operation. Although the law says the fact that every hospital must provide emergency surgery, we're still seeing reports around the place, the fact that, Japanese people coming in, getting into car accidents and then getting shoved to, 3 different hospitals and then finally dying because nobody will fucking, stop the blood gushing out. Well, I'm probably exaggerating the situation. There was a story came
Hopefully
through.
you are.
Well, 3 months ago it happened. Like this guy, the Japanese guy who was in a car accident. They took him to a private hospital. The private hospital says, well, he's a foreigner. Where's his health insurance? We can't operate. So they took him to another hospital, the same thing, and then they took him to a public hospital. By the time he rocked up at the emergency public hospital, he'd run out of fuel in his system, and he died.
I thought there was a fund or a policy.
Oh yeah, it is. And of course, when that happened, there was a reissue of the same statement by the government. Who read it? I don't know. I read it. The fact that no, every hospital must provide emergency surgery. There is a fund that covers every hospital in Thailand to do that. But yeah, it's not something that's in common knowledge. These common knowledge things, it's all hidden knowledge now. And this is where we're going wrong with the society. Stop hiding the stuff that people need to know, right? This is the sort of stuff I spend most of my time browsing the internet. All the hidden gotchas of everything, so I don't, have a problem. Trying to stay one step ahead of the game, which is part of the process of living in a different country. You always got to be one step ahead, trying to read between the lines. But again, I think Thailand's a little bit easier to navigate if you've got a good translator.
Yeah.
You just can't find information in Australia because they suppress, information in Australia. The Whistleblower Act in Australia is one of the worst things that ever happened. You've heard about that one, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's come back to Thailand for a second.
Yeah.
Necessarily good, but I just got this.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is a notification to collect international postal items. I've been getting my vitamins from the U.S. from VitaCost for 6 years. Never had to pay import tax. I got my first one. I have 3,200 baht assessed value, and they have 2 fees: import duty and something invalid added tax. So 395 baht on 3,200 baht value. So I have to go pick it up at the. I know you can't see that. Got to go pick it up at the post office and pay. First time in 6 years now.
Yeah. Now, a good question for you. Why aren't you using the Amway vitamins?
Amway?
The Amway vitamins.
They're about 40 times more expensive.
Oh, right, okay. But they're good and you can buy them in Thailand.
They're good, but I get great vitamins from VitaCost. I think I'm doing pretty good for my age, so I'll stick right where I am.
Yeah,
but damn, now I got to pay the import tax.
These are the only ones I have.
I know Neutralite. Oh, Centrum.
Centrum, they're the Silver Plus 50, yeah. I'll take one of those every few days. They're not cheap.
Living in Thailand, this is the stuff we have to put up with.
Anyway, we are at our 1 hour mark. We've had a good chat about the LTR visa. So in closing, Mark, are you going to get the LTR? Glad you guys are sharing information on LTR. Glad you worked through it. Cheers all. Yep. Not on. I think he mentioned before. It's not on his vision scope for the next few years. Stephen Monash has been doing his usual thing. G'day, Stephen. Not trying to ignore everybody, but I've let the other guys talk today.
I finally figured out how to follow along.
Oh, right. There you go.
Shit.
No, I've done that when I've done live streams. I have the second phone so I can read the chat on the live stream.
And I didn't know that you have me as a mild moderator, whatever that is.
Mild moderator? I don't, basically, the person with the blue writing is just moderators, which means you can delete people's messages. But I say with the 1 minute must be subscribed situation, it stops that problem. All the bots coming around. That's the only reason why it's there, is to stop the bots. Yep. If a bot wants to subscribe to the channel, that's fine. I don't care. but they don't build the bots to do that, unfortunately. Anyway, Dallo, I just keep filling up on the empty Blackmore's vitamin jar with Tic Tacs, and the wife doesn't have a clue, and her breath is always fresh. I hope she doesn't read this chat.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's cue the song, as Stephen said. We'll get out of here. End of days. Okay, closing screen. Peace out, guys. Glad to have you along, and thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Todd, and we'll catch up with you next week. 2 videos coming out.
I want you to lift me up so high, a place that no